Boom. Sound check, sound check. I don't know why there's no sound. There is.
Sound
there
check,
it is.
sound check.
Yeah, we got the sound going.
I don't know why there's no sound. There is. Sound check. Sound
All right,
check.
sweet.
Yeah, we got the sound.
All right, hey. All right, well, today on Sip and Smoke, we have the Illuminated Brewworks Weird Studies. It is a black Indian Pale Ale. This Illuminated Brewworks is out of Chicago, Illinois. It is some of the best beer, if not just in Chicago, but also in the country. I think these guys just not only make great flavors and great beers, have great, just fantastic packaging, great art. They just got a really good palate. Their beer palate and the types of beers that they make are fantastic. So we're going to try this Weird Studies Black Indian Pale Ale from Illuminated Brews in Chicago, Illinois. And we're going to pair that with this Hoyo de Monterrey Maduro, this Maduro that we have here. It's a 50 gauge. It's a big Churchill. I should have just done a Robusto, but if we're going to be here smoking for a while, might as well. I don't normally have these Churchill size cigars here, but that's what we're going to go with, guys. Let me see if anybody's here in the chat. Welcome. I saw that Real News MMA was in here a moment ago. Hopefully, the algorithm does not kick me off here. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, and I'm sorry to hold this camera here. All crazy, this phone, but no one's in here thus far anyways. Yesterday, I had some technical problem where the camera, or at least I think it was my camera, or I'm sorry, this software that everybody uses, Streamlabs, just booted me out. So I did the whole fucking full card review, like, and didn't even know that it was gone. I was drinking beer, talking, and I was basically just talking to myself. So I'm going to keep an eye on the camera to make certain that doesn't happen this time. But no one's here right now in the chat to confirm or deny anything. But what we'll do, since we're waiting for people to come on in, we're going to pour ourselves. We're going to unwrap the cello on this Hoyo de Monterrey. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't tell you, I normally don't like buying cigars in the cellos. I think that they should be allowed to breathe. So you want to, when you take these and you buy them, you definitely want them out of the cellos as quickly as possible. It's better if you age them for some time without the cellophane. So let's look at the cigar to allow some of the oils to really breathe. This is Maduro, and it's a ring gauge of a 50. 50 ring gauge is going to be like the thicker, bigger cigar. So I'm smoking a Big Daddy today. Not normally my size, but they did have a smaller one, a smaller Hoyo de Monterrey Maduro. But I went with this bigger one. They looked a little fresher. The color on the Maduros looked a little darker, and that's why we have a darker cigar as a Maduro. It has just a more ripe leaf compared to some of the Connecticut Shade and some of the other lighter shade cigars. So this one is a Maduro. Really nice quality roll. It feels very firm. The roll looks very nice and tight there. It's sort of tough to see, right? Ooh, what an aroma! Man, that smells really, really good. That aroma here. Like people are gonna say, "Oh, he's got like a piece of shit on his face." Oh, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good here. Oh my goodness, that is good. The Hoyo de Monterrey Maduro. Now we're gonna pair that with this Illuminated Brewworks. Hey, what's up, Real News MA? Good to see you, brother. How are things? I hope things are okay. Looking forward to a fun night of fights. I think we got some good fights on tap for us today. You guys can hear me, I believe. Hopefully still. Let me get this camera hooked up. Bam. Okay, hopefully I'm still casting, I think. Ba-da-da-da. And whether it's straight or not, it's okay. What's going on? You still see me there? Here's a cigar. I have a cigar cutter, but I've been using this Ooh, real nose. You know, I'm on distance props. I think this is going to be a favorites card. It's a dog or pass card for sure. And all the favorites, I think, could possibly win, are going to more likely or not win their fights. Vegas sort of sees it the same way. Problem is, it's all big chalk money. And you guys know me, I'm like Ron from Capper Comparisons. I like that plus money. I know I got to get over it, right? I got to get over the always chasing plus money. And sometimes I have to go with, what I know. Like, I do well at picking winners. Picking winners, to me, has never been a challenge. It's picking the method and or the distance that is that's always the challenge, and it always pays the best. I can't cover the chalk, so like other people, I'm out there doing, prop bets. So I'm liking, I can tell you up and down the card, I'm liking Israel Adesanya, or down the card. I'm actually on Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway at plus 165 is a value. I think Alex Pieta is in danger, one of the favorites, most in danger to be defeated by Sean Strickland if Sean Strickland comes in and grapples. He's going to surprise people. I think Sean is a little bit of a head case, but he might be a smarter fighter than people think. And if he comes in and implements a striking heavy and control heavy game plan, stays away from Pieta's strengths, which are his long arms and his leg kicks, Pieta does get touched up, so he's in jeopardy. Robbie Lawler and Brian Barberena, I'm not leaning either way. I think if you got Brian Barberena, at one point he was at plus 150. That was a value side and a good value bet on him. I think Sean O'Malley will dominate Pedro Munhoz in that particular bout. The size difference just is too much. Brad Riddell is a live dog, but I'm on Jalen Turner, and I'm in fact on Jalen Turner by submission is probably the prop bet that I'm going to play. I think that not to go the distance in that particular fight is another bet to consider. I like Jim Miller, and I'm just think that line keeps dropping. So I like Miller to win against Donald Cerrone because Cerrone's just deteriorated. Yo, Joey, what's going on, dude? Look at I got a little BBC here. Yeah. I like that, huh? I got an adult channel here, so I can say what I want. So I'm going to take my X-Acto, and I'm going to do a little T with the X-Acto there. Boom, a little T cut. You could do this yourself, and they have hole punches are really some of the better ones. I like those. But actually, I don't want to do too much of that. Yeah, I'm getting a little draw. I'm getting a little draw right there. The Hoyo de Monterrey Maduro. If you guys can see that. Joey says that I started drinking. I haven't started drinking yet. This is going to be, I had a few tasters at the Illuminated Brew Works. So this is going to be my first brew. Take it easy. This is going to be my first one here. I know I need to stay focused. You're correct, but I don't know. We'll see how much gambling I do. But we're going to taste this Illuminated Brew Works Black Indian Pale Ale. Yeah. We're living large here, guys. This is life. Yeah, this is why I can't afford a computer, is because I smoke, $12 cigars and drink, $10 beers. Wow, this one's dark. It is dark. Look at that. It's almost like a stout. This one, the alcohol content, I know a lot of people are always curious about the alcohol content. Ooh, wow. It's heavy on the alcohol. It is. Let's see what it says here on the alcohol content. It is described with a dry hopped with Zappa and Chinook hops. Oh, wow. I got to learn about these Chinook hops. So what that is. Alcohol by volume, it is 5.34 alcohol by volume. Enjoy with people you trust. I also have some of the Trust beer that I'm going to break open as my second beer that we're going to have is the Illuminated Brew Works Trust that I bought a growler of. But we're going to have first, I should have started with the lighter beer, but we're going to have one of these little dark ones right now with this Maduro, which I think is going to be a good pairing here. So, before I light up the cigar, let me have a little sip of this beer here. Again, the Illuminated Beer Works, Weird Studies, Illuminated out of Jefferson Park, Chicago. Yeah. And yes, I do smell the beer. Yeah. It basically is like, it basically is like a stout that's an Indian Pale Ale. It has the pepperiness and the spiciness of an ale with that sweet / creamy taste of a stout. And I wonder if that's what they were going for here. I like it. It shouldn't have been my first beer for the day. I think I should have went with something a lot lighter. I do have the Trust beer from Illuminated Brew Works. That's what we're going to be drinking and promoting. But in the future, I'm going to start doing these if I can. I'm fortunate to have the day off today. I'm going to keep doing these sip and smokes as much as possible. Oh, did I fall off? Did they cancel me out? No, they didn't. I'm just frozen on the screen there. What's that? Real News MMA, you still there? Hey guys, I'd appreciate it if occasionally if somebody stayed in and just say, hey, you're still casting and you're still here. We hear you, because my computer freezes. I'm using the phone. The phone is not reliable either. So anything that I can to get your assistance out there. Let's see. Jojo, you still there, brother? Let me know you're still there, and I'm still casting. So, all right, awesome. Thank you. You can still hear. All right, so as always, guys, I use wood matches. Wood, not wooden. Wood matches. The word is wooden. And Real News, I do not like the under 4.5 for the main event. I don't like betting. I'll tell you some other time props that I like. I like betting against the under 1.5 quite a bit. And we have that here with us, or an opportunity to bet a few of those. I like the over 1.5 in the bout between Uriah Hall and is it Andre Muniz. What do you mean you can't see me? The screen is blocked. Are you serious? Well, all right. I see what you're saying. You're looking at my computer. Thank you. All right. Now you're going to be able to see me. There you go. Hopefully that works now. Oh my goodness, the challenges of being a low-tech old streamer. Just the challenges, guys. I mean, salut. Cheers to you guys. Salut. Not bad. Not my best choice. I mean, I was trying for something lighter for the day, but I wanted something to pair with this Maduro. I've already made the plug of the Maduro. And as always, we're going to use wood matches, cedar stick to light this baby up. You know? Da, 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 da. How are you guys doing this afternoon? It's nice out there. I was fortunate to get the day off. As you guys know, it's rare for me to get the day off. Now you haven't seen me. That's why I haven't been very active making any content. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as always, we're trying to get a nice even burn on this sucker. You know, as always, I always remember with these Hoyo de Monterreys, these Maduros aren't always as sweet, especially the Excalibur what I have, because it has some Honduran tobacco. The Honduran tobacco has a lot more pepperiness to it, a lot more spiciness on the finish. So it's a little sweet and has that like plantainish, or the beer and the cigar I had yesterday, the Monteñones, definitely had more of that plantain taste, especially if it were fresher or wasn't a vintage cigar. But this is not a vintage cigar. This is a brand new cigar. With time, like a year or two, if you'd put this in a humidor, it should level it out. It should lower the that pepperiness a little bit more. I mentioned yesterday, and we talked about it, but you guys didn't see it. Joey is on the Miller TKO line. That is a nice prop. It's a good price. As I mentioned to him at work, Donald Cerrone has lost 60% of his bouts by TKO, and he's been super chinny lately. He looked great at the weigh-in, but I don't think he's still trustworthy. And he has a victory over Miller. And Miller's only recently got those 2 knockouts, but the guy has some of the most submissions in UFC history. And Cerrone was only last submitted by Ben Henderson years ago. Like, I think it's like over 5 years ago. Is it that long ago? You could check it on the stats over here on UFC Stats. But it has been some time since Donald Cerrone, and it was against Ben Henderson. I'm certain of that. Here, let me see. It's tough. Every time I touch my computer and I try to like look for something, it really isn't worth it. So just trust me on that stat there. But it is one of the better priced props. And Donald Cerrone, I mean, I mentioned it yesterday. I hate to say it, man, the guy's just washed. There are times to hang it up, and he knows he was going to have like that retirement fight against Joe Luzon, and I think this could be another, this is another kind of retirement fight for him. This is his swan song, which is usually a bad thing. Let's see when that. Yeah, that was back in 2010. That was in the WEC when Donald Cerrone last lost by submission. So on the feet, Donald Cerrone should be better than Miller. But his chin, man, all it takes is one gut shot or a chin shot, and Cerrone just has been quitting. So we'll see at the time if that's going to be a chase that we do. That is Joey's pick, though. Joey's picks are always pretty solid. The guy's been winning, and he's been a clear clear successes here on this channel and in his gambling. So check that out. I didn't get an even burn here. See that? I didn't get an even burn, so I'm going to try to draw it out. And word to the wise guys, you would never want to share a cigar with me because I'm a slobberer. Joey likes to slob on these things, but I'm a slobberer on my cigars. I really, by the time the cigar is finished, it's going to look like a mess. It's just going to be a wet mush of a cigar at the end there, which isn't always great. You want to try to keep it intact, but that's just my style, you know? So real news, I don't like the over 4.5 in the main because, we've seen what we've seen, right? We've seen this matchup twice. So it's gone to decision both times. Both guys are killers, but they're not finishers. I think Holloway has a little bit more genuine and authentic finishing abilities, but he hasn't been finishing. And Volkanovski just recently has been finishing people. He's wanting to search for that finish. Very similar to Usman, he's been improving his power, and the guy is powerful. But, he's going against Holloway, who just has a chin and could just take a beating like he did against Dustin Poirier, and he won't go out. So I think that, the judges, the last two fights were so close, even on the cards, that there's value on Holloway, and I can't veer away from it. When two guys are more than likely going to go to a decision, it's going to be who's the more active striker and more effective striker. And if Holloway can mix in some grappling, he might be able to score more points with control time. But as we've seen, the judges have been crazy about control time of late. They've been judging control with damage, but not just simply holding in control. Whereas we rewatched that fight with Corey Sandhagen and Dylan. No, what's the freaking name? Oh, horrible. My memory on some of these things. But where I thought Sandhagen clearly won, he did slow down, but he was held a lot, and it cost him the decision late in the fight. Adesanya Cannonier under 4.5 rounds. Another fight I think goes the distance. It's not clear that it's going to go the distance, but I'm thinking that is what's going to happen. Those aren't the time props they're not even very good. I mean, you're not getting any good value on that time prop as well. Either of those, not to go the distance prop, unless you're getting decent plus money, just avoid them. And as I mentioned yesterday, I think this is a card to avoid a lot of spots, period. This is a sketchy gambling card. This is not a great gambling card at all. So I would suggest picking your spots wisely and not spreading yourself all over the place and hammering the things you do feel about. I think this is more of a parlay card, but the square parlays are not juicy at all. So picking the right favorites in this particular card are going to be important to pair. But those aren't the time props that I'm looking at. I'm looking at or considering yes to go the distance and Alex Pereira and Sean Strickland at plus 140 and over 1.5 in the bout between. God, my computer is so bad. So bad. Yeah. Another thing I learned today that I didn't know when I went to Illuminated Brewworks was, I brought my growler with me, and the growlers have those plastic caps, and I didn't know that what you should do with your growler is leave the cap off or even throw away the cap. So they gave me a new cap today, and he smelled it, he tested out the growler to make sure that there was no mold in the growler. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case. I'm gonna move to the. Quite honestly, this wasn't the best, but it's a good pairing, but it's a little heavy for the afternoon. You know what I mean? It's good with this cigar for sure. Hoyo de Monterrey, Maduro. These are really great cigars to sit on. They're a lot more expensive than when I used to really collect and smoke a lot of cigars. This cigar used to be like $3. Now they're 12. Let's see what Real News had to say there. He says he has 2 small money parlays this weekend, but next week I'll try and settle into 1 or 2 picks. Yeah, man. I'm not high on this card from a gambling perspective at all. I think it is a sloppy, dangerous betting card, even with the parlays. I would ask, like, who do you think are the best or the most likely to falter here? Which favorite is most likely to get upset is what I'm asking. And in the main events, I don't think that the two favorites there, or at least, I'm sorry, not in the main events, but in most of the main event for me, in terms of trying to fade, it isn't time to fade Sean O'Malley. I really Fazeev. Yeah, you know what? I'm on Rafael dos Anjos. You could get him at plus money. Dos Anjos can wrestle, man. People forget that he can wrestle, and Fazeev has got no wrestling. He's got good takedown defense, and if you look at some of the fighters that Rafael dos Anjos has out grappled, he has beyond a distinct advantage against Fazeev. And if he stands and trades, just like this bout here this week, Alex Pieta and Sean Strickland, why are you going to stand and trade with a K1 and or Glory kickboxing champion? That is just stupid. It's the same with Jared Cannonier and Israel Adesanya. We know how to beat Israel Adesanya. We saw the Polish Power do it, right? We saw the means of victory is to hold the guy down, grab a hold of him, don't let him move, don't let him kill you from the outside, impede his movement. Israel Adesanya has the best stand-up movement in the game, the best head movement, quick torso, great twitch muscles when he is striking, super, super fast hands. And that's why I think Sean O'Malley is a favorite here to me. I'm not big on Sean O'Malley. I'm waiting to fade him. Believe me, I'm waiting to fade Sean O'Malley. But looking at the size difference and the speed difference, Munoz is active, and he could go, and he's durable, and he could go 5 rounds, or even 3 rounds, which this is going to be easily. But Sean O'Malley's hand speed that I saw, I have to give him respect. As even Munoz mentioned, he's legit. His hands are legit quick. I don't think he has the finishing power that he thinks he has, and that Vegas thinks he does. They want him to be a finisher, but I don't see him as a prolific finisher. And as he gets smarter and gets more experience in UFC, those finishes will come. But the dude has some long arms and fast hands. If he just would stop being cocky, get a little bit more focused, stop trying to be the sugar show, and start just showing improving and really just fighting with his head and with a game plan, not trying to make a highlight, the guy can become champion. Because everyone wants to stand and trade and knock him out, just like Izzy. They don't like him. He's already in their head. Same with Strickland and Pieta. He wants to make a show. They want to put on a show. And why do that? When Pieta we've seen, it has a hard time off his back. He wants to prefer to stand and trade. That's his bread and butter. That is what he does naturally, is kickbox. So you wrestle a kickboxer. Same with Fazeev. He's a striker. You wrestle a striker. That's what you do. Yes, it's hard. They have good takedown defense, but Dos Anjos has very, very underrated wrestling. And he has a jiu-jitsu game, but his wrestling is there. I think the path to a finish by submission for Dos Anjos, even though he hasn't had it in a long time, but he certainly can ground and pound his way to a victory, both by points and or TKO. So I'm on Dos Anjos, and I'm hoping the hype train, more people continue to back Fazeev here. And I think Dos Anjos, he's taking a huge step up by a lot of levels, right? Going from Brad Riddell to a previous champion whose ex still hasn't faded is a bad deal for Fazeev. And I think that he's going to meet his match here, and I think he's going to get his first loss. So I'm hoping that that number keeps increasing, and that I could get Dos Anjos at better dog money, and I'm going with dog there. Yeah, the spiciness is still there, but it's mellowed out right now. Like at the beginning of this cigar, that's another thing. The other good thing about these Churchill-sized cigars is their texture, or not the texture, but their flavors change as the cigar continues to heat. The heating of the cigar is going to produce more oils in the cigar, it's going to change the flavor as we smoke it. So it started off very, very spicy, a little drier, and now the plantain flavor, the banana-like flavor of it being what is a banana, like squishy, is going to be more self-evident. So I'm on that. Jack Attack, what's up, brother? I didn't like that just there. That the ash fell off so soon. It's two things. It's not burning perfectly, maybe because I didn't light it well, or that it's not rolled uniformly. So it's either a poor roll, right, or it was me not lighting it for a while. So Real News MMA says, yeah, he thinks that O'Malley will dominate the fight until he doesn't. He does like Munoz by submission at the 11 times money. He has a great guillotine also, so he wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, I have to hand it. I mean, O'Malley is trained by yeah, you can come over, Joey. Come on over, dude. I don't have any BBC here for you. I don't have another one of these cigars, so. Yeah, and that spicy finish. Wow. Yeah, and as I mentioned with the weird studies, this beer, I'm not a fan of it. It's trying to do it's doing two things, right? It's trying to be a sort of stouty-like IPA, and it doesn't work for me. The start has that creaminess, and then the finish has that bitterness and that spiciness, and it's just a little too heavy for me. It is good with this cigar though, but I have to give this. It's a great beer. It's just not the best for this hour and necessarily what I was leaning towards right now. Jack Attack saying that he went to pick up some alcohol for tonight. He hadn't drank in over a year, but he's feeling it tonight. It's a special occasion. These events. This event is a fantastic UFC card. I don't think it's going to be as great as we've seen a few weeks ago, but all these fights are legit good fights. Anytime Israel Adesanya steps into the ring, it's a show, man. The guy is just so good. Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, bring it. Did you see the argument? Did you guys see that argument that they had backstage? These guys want to bring it. They're going to show out. Israel Adesanya was talking about showing out. Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway will be fight of the night. That's going to be, whether it ends quickly or not, I think it won't. I think it's going to be what it has been, just a war, just a striking battle. I do hope that Max Holloway tries to grapple, or maybe even Alexander Volkanovski tries to grapple. As I mentioned last night, I apologize that the stream cut out. I'm still in here. I see Brian got in here. I'm gonna next time for Jack Attack MMA. There is Iris Beer Works here in another north side of Chicago. Beer. I'm sorry. She specializes in cider, and it's some of the best cider in the country. That's from here in Chicago, and that's Iris Brewery, and they have great food there. They have a great restaurant. The food is off the chain. It is there so. I'll have some of that the next time, Jack. I'm gonna have some cider and we'll do a little talking. Jack Attack mentions, he says the controversy of the decision of the second fight took away from how good the fight was. That was fight of the year contender worthy. Absolutely, man. Those guys were getting it. And Volkanovski was not quitting, man. He was lighting in that second fight. He was lighting up those legs. He was hitting Holloway, and Holloway was tagging him, but Holloway was doing a little too much showmanship. Again, just like Sean O'Malley, wanting to make a show, putting his hands down. He was also fighting backwards, right? Lately, the referees don't just look at Rose Namajunas. When you are staying on the outside and not being as aggressive, the judges are penalizing you for that. I don't agree with that, But they're considering that when you're moving backwards that the other person has octagon control, and they're scoring that, which is complete bullshit. Israel Adesanya is a different case, for example, of doing that. The guy from the outside is very active, right? So Max by sub, you know, I don't think so. If this guy couldn't submit him, even though I had that at what was that, plus 1,600, or it was even more than that. I don't think that Max can do it. But Max, I'm still on Max. Max is still. Max has dropped another 7 points as of yesterday.